Okay, so this is my custom bass. And to most people, probably it doesn't look anything, I guess, necessarily cool or awesome. Uh, it doesn't seem like any typically like any different Fender, I guess. But I'm gonna explain what makes this thing so fucking magical, because it's fucking magical. Um, it is pretty expensive. Like I said, it's a custom bass. So I'm gonna explain why this thing is so awesome. So like, I think everyone has seen a Fender bass at some point or another. Like, I mean, they're pretty much the standard in rock music and everything. Like, well, just music in general, really. They've existed since the late 50s. Pretty much it's just like a famous thing. Like, they're everywhere. But most Fenders, like, are just kind of average looking, and I mean, they're cool sounding. They're a little boring to look at. So, see, this is my first bass. It's not plugged in or anything. It's a little quieter than my other ones because it has flats. I don't know if those will pick it up. But those are flat wound strings. It's like, it makes it sound like an upright bass, kind of. This is the first bass I ever had. And it's Fender. And like, I grew up playing this, and it's gone through some different pick guards and knobs and parts and stuff, but this is my third pick guard for it. It's not on. I'm still technically working on this, so it's not screwed in. I need to solder the tone pod. But this actually, when I bought it from Miami Music in Oklahoma. It was the only Fender in the store, and it had a white pick guard. And I switched it to a Torque, but then the Torque shrunk up, and then I had to buy another Torque pick guard. But I've had this thing since I was like 15, and it's probably like, this is the bass that I pretty much compare every other bass to. And it's well loved, as you can tell. Like I said, I had this since I was like 15. So, you know, there's some chips and scratches. That fell down concrete set of stairs. There's some, I don't know if you can see it, there's dents and stuff in that. But the most thing is, people think I did this on purpose too, is this cigarette burn right here. That was just there when I bought it. I bought this bass used when I was like 15, so. But yeah, so this is like, when I had this bass, I knew that pretty much for the rest of my life I'd be playing Fenders, and I always wanted like my own, like to design my own. Now, this thing is really unique. Like, and when I say really unique, I mean like literally one of a kind. Like, no one else owns a bass like this. There's like one or two out there that are kind of close, but no one owns a bass exactly like this. And it's like a mix of modern and vintage. It's like, I got these high output pickups, and literally what I would do is when I was like 13 years old, I'd draw this bass. Like, I would draw it in my notebook. I should be taking notes on like, I don't know, business publishing or whatever class I took, but I didn't, or tech ed or whatever. No, I would not pay attention and draw. I drew 2 bases. I drew this base and I drew a Bronco. And I've made them both, but I got rid of the Bronco. This one I'm going to keep forever. Like, this has been my dream base since I was 14 years old. It's got a thin jazz bass neck. Like, it's thinner. Like, okay, so this is a jazz bass neck. Let me see if I can compare it. It's, especially at the nut, it's really noticeable. This is wider than this one. And I got really tiny hands, surprisingly. Like, they probably might look tiny in a video, but my hands are tiny. And but the narrow neck, I've always liked jazz basses. And it's also got a jazz bass body. And if you don't know, a jazz bass body has like this offset thing here, where it's offset right there. And that's cool and all, but you know, every part's American, like, except for the neck, because if you look at the neck, it's I probably shouldn't do that, serial number and stuff, but it's a Mexican neck. The tuning keys, these things, American. Even this thing's American. American, 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 American. And that's why this thing costs so much. And it, like I said, it's kind of a mix of modern things and like, you know, it's a mix of modern and vintage. Jazz basses, they made them in the 60s, the bodies from the 60s. These knobs, if you look, they look like at a distance like they're one knob, but it's literally 2 knobs stacked on top of each other. And it's a volume, the top part's a volume, and this part's a tone. So volume and tone. For this part's for this one, this part's for this one. And that's from the 60s. Now, when you're looking at this jazz bass position, like, should be technically on most basses a little further up. This is called, like, this position where it's at right now, like currently, is the 70s position, and they would move it closer to the bridge. Like, people think or thought for a long time it's for sound reasons. It does change the sound, by the way, but it's not for sound reasons they originally did it. They used to put a big metal bridge cover, that this whole thing would be covered with this metal thing, and to hide that pickup, they had to move it back in the 70s. So this is in the 70s position, and it's like, why would I put that there? Like I said, it does make a difference to the sound. It gives it more mid-range and treble, and it's kind of neat. Also, it's a Seymour Duncan quarter pound, which it's like, this is like modern pickups, high output, meant for rock and stuff, but I don't know. I just think they're cool. They sound pretty good. This pickup in particularly, like, you can play up and down the neck. It's also a Seymour Duncan quarter pounder. You play up and down the neck. It don't matter where. It's really cool, actually. Like, you can play anywhere on the fretboard, and there's like super note definition. Like, on normal P basses, which is what this P bass, or this pickup, like on normal P basses, this pickup usually isn't like how I just showed you, how it's like cleared through there. Also, this is another weird modern thing I did. If you look, this is shaped like this, and if you notice, this is the inverse. And the reason I did that, I need to mute my hand real quick. The reason I did that is because it also changes the sound. See, this one is further back, which means these 2 low strings that the pole pieces line up are, well, technically these 2. This is like up, and this one on the bottom, as you see, is closer to the bridge. This never made sense to me once I learned about electronics. This is stupid. This is something Fender's always done, though, which I think is why it hasn't changed. But it's, you know, it's shaped like a Z or whatever. And if you look, each string has 2 pole pieces on each side. And like I said, this one's back here. This doesn't make sense to me. So what I did was I flipped it up here on these two high strings. And the reason why is for these to be closer to the bridge, it makes these high strings snappy, right? Well, they're already snappy. So to mellow out the high strings, I wanted to move this section up here, closer to the neck, so to mellow it out. Which you can see I did. Usually this would be like down here, or whatever, down here. Nah, it'd be like down here, technically. This is a funny thing. I'm a huge Blink-182 fan, which is, I know, stupid. I'm 35 years old. I shouldn't probably admit that. But I love Blink. Like, I've always loved Blink. And this bass is kind of like a Mark Hoppus bass, because he uses the same pickups. This is a Mark Hoppus pick guard. I had an extra hole drilled in it here for these. But, you know, it's, I don't know. But, like, the thing about the Mark Hoppus bass is the P bass pickup isn't even located in a normal spot where it'd be on a normal jazz bass anyways. See, if this was on a normal jazz bass, this would be down here, and this part would be down here on this side. But also this would be up here a little bit. So it's, the pickup positions are weird. This one's further back than a normal bass. This one's further up, and then this is reversed, which sounds really weird. But again, it's unique. Not a lot of people had it, and I did it for tonal reasons. So this is 60s, 70s, modern pickups. Fairly modern pickguard, I guess. Jazz bass neck. All American parts, like even the neck plate. If you look, it says Fender, Corona, California. The strap buttons are even American. Like these things are American and officially Fender. It's really stupid how much I paid for them. The pots and everything is CTS. It's all American. This bridge is based on a Leo Quan Badass 2, which they don't make anymore. But this company makes like a replacement version of it, I guess. And I used to have a Fernandez Atlas bass, which is a weird looking bass, and Fernandez, I'm pretty sure, quit selling guitars in America at this point. But the bridge is like, it's a high mass, has brass saddles. Geddy Lee from Rush, which I really like Rush.